Hey, good evening, folks. I'm meteorologist Tim Pandages. Big news coming down this Thursday from NOAA, and they've stated that La Niña, that's been dominant for the last 3 years, is no more. We've begun to enter a transitioning phase where the cooler equatorial Pacific waters off the coast of South America, which is La Niña conditions, are slowly being replaced by warmer than normal sea surface temperatures there, and that means we're transitioning out of La Niña into an El Nino, which would be warmer than normal equatorial Pacific waters off the coast of South America. Now, why in the world does that even matter for us? Well, this has to do with the amount of wind shear that's present in the Atlantic during hurricane season. During La Niña, wind shear is suppressed, so that leads to slightly more activity in the Atlantic basin. Typically in El Nino years, we see less activity due to an increase in wind shear. Now, that's not all that this teleconnection does for our weather. In fact, we've been dealing with conditions for the last 3 years with a storm track to our north, meaning we've been drier and warmer than usual. Just look back to last summer when we had over 20 days of 100-degree temperatures, and we had that prolonged significant drought through much of Texas. Now, what can we expect if we transition into an El Nino that is now forecast to occur during the summer months this year? Well, a decrease in hurricanes in the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic. Also, that storm track will be farther to the south. The jet stream will dip farther south, meaning the storm path will bring us some wetter conditions and also cooler temperatures. So summer overall could potentially be cooler and wetter. Now let's talk about the hurricane aspect of the El Nino, La Niña, ENSO phase. So typically in La Niña years, we have the cooler waters off the coast of South America, and that leads to a drop in wind shear over the Atlantic. That means there's nothing to disrupt hurricanes from developing. Therefore, activity tends to be higher during La Niña phases. And here's a look at the Gulf of Mexico hits along the southeast Texas coastline in La Niña years since 1980. Some big names in here. We've got Harvey, we've got Alicia in 1983, we've got Ike in 2008, all occurring in La Niña years. What about the neutral years when we're transitioning either into La Niña or into El Nino or out of either? Well, slightly less active, but still some activity there with some hits along the Gulf Coast. But look at El Nino years. The warmer waters off the coast of South America and the equatorial Pacific waters leads to an increase in wind shear. That wind shear helps to tear apart developing hurricanes, and typically it leads to lower hurricane activity in the Atlantic basin. Of course, this is not set in stone. There are several other factors that lead to this, but this is just one piece of the puzzle that we're going to use to look at the next season and what we may expect in the Atlantic basin. But El Nino years since 1980 have led to relatively quiet hurricane activity along the southeast coast of Texas.